And so when we listen to our hearts, when we follow the omens, when we listen to the universe, things will work out. They always have. Hello, friends of the internet. Welcome to the first episode of Carlito's Chats, a place where we are yearning for answers about everyday questions on how we can become better people, more enlightened individuals who are more aware of their surroundings, of who we are, and most importantly, how we can free ourselves and the people around us of the chains that keep us down. So many of us, we carry stuff. Everyone does. We carry weight of past traumas, of the people we think we should be. And I wanted to create a space where we can talk about our emotions. We can speak about things that we struggle with, but with a solution-oriented mind. How can we fix our issues and become better people, not just for ourselves, but for the people we love? And today, I wasn't even planning to go speak or record, but something happened that was really beautiful. I was going on a walk today. I had done some work and I had some free time. And as the new year is here, happy 2026, I knew that the time was to go work. I knew I needed to work out. I needed to go exercise. The time was now. So I go to a trail that I've only visited once, but I was in that area. So I went to this trail. And when I parked my car, there were a ton of cars. People, it was very busy. And so I'm walking to the entrance, and it looks like there's like a group of older people, and they're like waiting to do maybe some type of like bird watching. It was giving like they're there to enjoy nature and kind of like talk about it. So I'm walking, and there's this group who's having a conversation. And I was always raised that when you are walking in front of people or through a group of people, you always say, "Excuse me," right? Because people are speaking, you want to be polite. And so I walk through this group and I say, "Excuse me." And this older gentleman looks at me and he says, "Tell your family you love them." That kind of took me out a little bit. It was so beautiful, but I was not expecting him to say that. So I like waited and I was like, "Thank you." What do you say? I said, "Thank you. You too." And I kept walking. And as I was walking, I was sitting with that thought. And I started to get a little emotional in a weird way. And the emotions that were running through my head were that God is always speaking to us. God, the universe, I will interchange that word because God made the universe and the universe is God. So that's my opinion. And I believe that God is always talking to us, but we have to open our eyes to listen. We have to open our ears to absorb what's happening around us. So many of us, we continue through life, and I am speaking about myself, and we are actively walking with sunglasses on, with these walls that we're creating. They're blinders, and we live our lives doing the things that are important to us, as we should, right? We go to work, we meet up with friends, we have our hobbies, our activities that we enjoy, but we're constantly in our bubble. If that means you're listening to music, you have those little headphones on, or you're with friends, or you're just distracted by everyday life. And when we're distracted, we can easily avoid and overlook the beauty and the signs, the omens that God is trying to tell us. God has a purpose for all of us. I know in my heart that what is has already happened. Everything happens the way it needs to happen. I wrote that down from a video I was watching with Iyanla, and she said how things have already occurred the way they're supposed to occur, and things will be the way they're meant to be. And so when I look at my life and I look at 2026, and I bet you feel similar, where are the moments that we aren't actually looking to see what is? What are the moments where we are so zoned in that we aren't seeing the signs and the messages that God is trying to tell us? God speaks through omens, omens being signs and messages that almost feel like they're only meant for you. So for me, example, I love the number 6. The number 6 is my favorite number. And I always see 621. I know it's a weird combination, but I will see 621 in random places. And I know when I see 621, my angel numbers, I know that God is trying to tell me something. It's either to lean forward, it's either to be weary, to take a step back. But I know God is speaking, and I know God is talking, and He's trying to tell me something. And the moments in my life when I have listened to what God is saying, it's always in abundance. Always. So if that was for me the time where I was thinking about becoming a teacher, and I wasn't fully sure if teaching was for me, I had quit a radio job that I had that was not paying me. A lot of entertainment jobs don't pay, guys. Unless you're at the very top, you're probably not making money. I was working a job that was exploiting my skills, exploiting my talents. And I was really tired of working with coworkers who I felt didn't appreciate me and were making me feel ostracized. So I left that job. I left without another job, which that's a conversation in another episode. Don't quit a job until you have another job, but we all learn our lessons. And when I left this job, I was so lost and I didn't know what to do. I was working at Starbucks, which I never thought I would go back. I worked there during high school, and I was right back. And I was working a glorified security job at a music venue. I was like customer personnel, but I was just a bodyguard. And I knew that that was not what I wanted. I said, I went to college. Like, I studied. I spent 7 years for this. And there's nothing wrong with those kind of jobs, not at all. But when you have built yourself up with these skills and they aren't being appreciated, what do you do? So at that time, I had been subbing, not daily, but I've been subbing a couple times a week at a high school. And I remember looking and asking myself, like, what is next? What does God want me to do? What does the universe want me to do? And so I remember it was like the first week of school and I was like daily subbing. Fine, right? Better than working at Starbucks or at the music venue. And I went to my phone, which is where there was an application and you could see what jobs were opening. And there was a job for a librarian position for 2 weeks. It was a 2-week position for a librarian at a middle school. And I looked down and a part of me looked at it and I was like, no, I don't want to work at a middle school. Like, I'm not trying to do that kind of commitment. But something in me, an omen, a feeling, said, what do you have to lose? Honestly, though, I am working a low-end job, miserable, making frappuccinos and lattes when I knew that's not what I wanted to do. And so in that moment, I listened to God. I listened to myself. And I said, the time is now. And so I accepted that job. In a minute from seeing it, from going from I'm not going to do it to I need to do it, I claimed the job. And that job, I did a librarian position for 2 weeks. And when you do good work, people like you. That's a fact of life, right? When people like you, you get opportunities. Even if you're not fully skilled for those opportunities, when people see someone and they say, oh, I like this person, or I want to bring this person in, you get new opportunities. And so they asked me, do you want to be a seventh grade English teacher? The person we had to let go, and we have this position and we need to fill it, and we're looking for a long-term sub. And I said, yes, sure. What do I have to lose? And although that position was one of the hardest jobs I've ever worked, being a seventh grade English teacher was really hard because kids nowadays are not getting the attention that they deserve. And no judgment to parents, because it's really hard to be a parent. And there was a lot of ways that their parents were failing their kids, and the school district was failing the kids, and the internet and society is failing these students. And so I worked there for 3 months, did not like it. It was very difficult. And towards the end, I knew that I needed to leave. Like, I knew that I had to go. And one of my dear friends, she told me, who's also a teacher, she's the one that got me into subbing. And this is an omen, guys. God will speak through people. So God was speaking through her and said, hey, one of my coworkers is leaving, and there's a position opening up in my team. Because you're already a long-term sub and we're in the middle of the year, I think you could just transfer. Do you want me to give you the information of the DC, the teacher who's over this department, to see, what's up? Could you transfer? And so I said yes. And I reached out and I got the transfer. She said, of course, we'd love to have you. We've met you before. You do good work. You're already a long-term sub. This is an easy transition. And I did it for 1.5 years, and it was great. And the message of that story is that even though I was making Starbucks beverages and frappuccinos, and I was so annoyed and I was so upset, that led me to being a teacher and listening to my people, my friends, my community, and just having space for new opportunities and accepting those new opportunities led me to something better. So in your life, whatever your situation is, which I know situations can be tricky, because right now I'm in a situation that's kind of similar to where I was. Listen to God. Listen to the omens. Listen to the silence of your life. God is always talking to you, and He's always talking to me. You know what that right choice is. You know what you need to do. And no one will question you when you are doing what you need to do. And if they do question you, they aren't the people who need to be in your life at that moment. Because when you have a solution, and when you follow the signs, you follow the omens, everything always works out. When you follow your heart, I always tell people when I don't have advice to give them, I say, follow your heart. Girl, my man, he's being so annoying. Should I leave him? Follow your heart. My job, they stress me out. I don't like working there. Follow your heart. I'm just tired of life, which has been very me. Follow your heart. Our hearts are connected to God. I believe that. Our soul, right? What makes you you, that is embedded right here. And so when we listen to our hearts, when we follow the omens, when we listen to the universe, things will work out. They always have. And so as we are going into our new phase, this new year, 2026, how are we going to follow the omens to better be people who are ready and willing to accept the blessings of God? How will we become the people who are listening and who are absorbing more of the world and who are able to make better choices and live a better life because they're observant of the world we live in? How? How do we become those people? Is it by shutting people out? No. Unfortunately and fortunately, we need people. You need people. And even though people may have hurt you, you can't fully disconnect because we are a part of a community and we need each other. And so, as life gets tricky and it feels like it's not working out, take a second and pause. Look around and really ask yourself, how can I become a better version of me? How can I look to God and find the answers? And for me, going on that trail today and running into that gentleman who said, tell your family you love them, was an example of God speaking through someone to bring me a message. And the message is true. Tell your family you love them, right? Tell the people you care. And that's something that in a lot of ways I'm not great at. And so after hearing that, my sister called me. I have 3 sisters. And one of my sisters called me and she was just chatting it up. And I thought of my other sister who does not live in the same city I live in. And my sister was like, let's call her. And I said, yeah, let's call her. And so I gave her a call and she didn't answer. But I left her a message and I said, hey, I just want you to know that happy 2026. I love you. And I know this year is a big milestone year for you as you are graduating and you're going into college and all of life is happening. And I just hope you have a really great year. And I hope we see ourselves soon. And so when I said that, she messaged me just a little bit ago. And I had not spoken to her in a little bit. It had been some time. And it makes me happy to see my sister's name on my phone. Makes me happy to see her message me. And even though I have not connected with parts of my family in recent months or the last year, 2 years, I still love them. You know, I love my family. And that man reminded me that I need to spend time and show appreciation and show love for people that mean so much to me, right? And so your message will be different from my message, right? Because we are all humans living in this world that's has thousands of lessons to teach us. And so today, as you continue and you go throughout your day, what are the lessons that you can share with other people? What are the lessons that you can teach yourself by being observant today? And the way you do that is by 2 things, maybe even 3. Number 1, take your headphones out. Be aware of the world. Walk in this world and be a student. Be observant. Number 2, talk to people. Engage. Say hello. We are so scared of saying hello to people. Y'all, hi, how are you? That's all it takes. Hello. You don't have to say much. And that, for someone, can mean more than you'd ever imagine. So be a student of being friendly to others. Be kind. You don't have to be overly kind, but just be gracious. And lastly, be willing to accept whatever you learn. So many of us carry an ego, right? Our ego is there to protect us. It's these walls that we create. And it can be really easy when someone tells you, tell your family you love them. To be like, what? Tell your family you love them. I was about to cuss. I'm not cussing in this. And I realized that when you remove the ego, you accept things for what they are. This man wasn't trying to be mean. He wasn't being rude or sassy. He was just telling you, like, hey, tell your family you love them. And I accepted it in that way. But if I had a big ego, there's a world where maybe I would have listened with ears of, like, judgment or, like, retaliation. But I did it. And so, as this year has just begun, make this the year that you connect closer to God. Make this the year that you align yourself with the messages that the universe and God is trying to tell us. Because when we do align, we'll find all the answers for our issues. And y'all, I'm gonna be real. This year has just begun, but last year was difficult for me. And even though it was great in so many ways, it was beautiful. It was actually a great year. In a lot of ways, I have allowed myself to just be. Like I've just existed without intention. And that's dangerous. Because as humans, we need maps. We need to be working. We need to be actively pursuing something. And so I came on here because it made me emotional. If there is anything that I can give to the world, it's my voice. And so I hope that you look within yourself, look into your gifts, who you are, and you listen to God. Because God has all the answers. And God wants to help you achieve all your dreams. But we have to listen. And we have to put in effort. So next time the universe sends you a message, don't think about it. Just accept it and allow it to grow. Because I know for a fact that the universe wants us to be happy. And I want you to be happy. And the only way that we can achieve true happiness is by being at peace. So whatever is your conflict, whatever is your issue right now, listen to the universe. Listen to God. And when that moment comes, act. When that moment comes, listen, accept, and then make the best choice for you. Because no one will love you. No one will protect you the way you can protect yourself. And that's where I'm at. Thank you so much for whoever's watching this. I just felt the need to do this, and I know that more of these episodes will continue because I feel like I have some things to say. And so I will leave you with what I've said. Remember, you're amazing. And I wish you all the very best. Make sure to subscribe if you can. Like this video, and God bless you. Bye.